Hey guys, Jordan here with PadPath. Today I want to show you how the personalized affordability quiz works that we have placed on our homepage. And I also want to get into a little bit of the specifics of exactly what it is that it is calculating and why it differentiates from other affordability calculators that are out there in the market. So right now when you land on our homepage, padpath.com, you have this call to action button here to get started. When you clicked on this, it'll instantly take you over to a type form that we've developed. It takes you about a minute and 30 seconds, no longer than that, to complete. So let's go through it. We'll use the example of a woman named Mary. The second question asks you how you would describe your situation. Let's say Mary wants to know how much she can afford. And then it's basically 5 questions after that. Very quick and very easy. The first question is, are you currently working and receiving income? And this allows us to understand whether the person is making money, and if so, we want to take that annual income so that we can calculate their affordability. So let's say that Mary makes $75,000 a year. We'll input that here, very simple. Now we want to ask Mary how much she has saved up for a down payment, and an estimate here is fine. So let's say Mary has $40,000 saved up. The next 2 questions, we want to get information on her debts. These could be car payments, student loans, things as such. Let's say Mary has car payments and student loans. And let's say that on a monthly basis, those total $450. So that's basically it. And after that, what we do is we ask Mary for her email. In this case, I'll put my email so that I can get the report and show it to you. And then we ask how you heard about us. Boom. That's it. So if we were to go over to our email now, just submitted it, and you're going to see here in a few seconds that the report is going to come up. So let's wait for that. Boom, the report came up. That probably took 30 seconds. Hey Mary, thank you for taking the quiz. I introduced myself, basically a little bit of information about what she received, and she has her report attached. Now, look how cool this report is. This report basically addresses Mary by her first name, and it begins to provide her with a little bit of guidance so that she can understand exactly what it is that she's getting in this report. And I'm going to show you how this math works in a second. But first, let me show you the report. So we're estimating that based off of Mary's annual income of $75,000, which you see here, her monthly debt of $450, she had car payments and student loans, and $40,000 in savings, that she can afford a payment of $2,050 on a monthly basis. The next page goes on to break down her estimated monthly payment in terms of principal and interest, taxes and insurance, and mortgage insurance. And you're going to see when I show you the calculator that this is very accurate, probably one of the most accurate tools in the market right now. It provides Mary with a little bit of information on how to interpret her information, basically telling her how we calculated it, and some very simple next steps. In this case, her next step for Mary, if she's looking to buy a home, would be to get pre-approved for a loan. Perfect. So now let me go ahead and show you what we've built. Mary has her own specific file, okay? And in Mary's file, we're able to see the affordability report that she received and the calculator that we've built in-house. So here are the calculator results. And basically, this calculator is comprised of 3 tabs. On this page, we have our expense summary. We have on the final report tab, the actual calculation, the math behind everything. And on this tab, we have the assumptions. Let's start with the assumptions. This calculator, what it does essentially is it assumes in every single case that Mary's maximum debt to income is going to be no greater than 40%. And the reason for this is because when a loan underwriter takes in your information, they are going to use a figure such as 40%. Sometimes they'll go as high as 43 or 45% max DTI. But in this case, our goal is to ensure that Mary makes a smart financial decision. So, in other words, that she gets into a house that she knows that she can afford up front, given all her financial situation. So, given her entire picture. Here is where the calculator gets interesting. Other calculators that are out in the market do not do a very good job at taking in a borrower's full financial picture. So let me show you here on this page what we're talking about. Mary told us that she made $75,000 in income and that she had exactly $450 in monthly debt. What the calculator is doing is it's assuming that based off of these two figures, Mary can afford a maximum payment of $2,050. Now, this is purely based off of her income, right? So a maximum DTI would be $2,050. But what if we wanted to solve for the actual maximum value of home that Mary can afford, right? Mary's telling us that she makes this much money. She knows that she has 450 in debt, but what she really wants to know is how much home can she afford? So this is where the calculator is working behind the scenes. And essentially what it's doing is it is taking the maximum amount of property tax, homeowners insurance, mortgage insurance. So essentially the three major housing expenses that Mary would have to incur by purchasing a home, and it's valuing those right here. The other one would be the homeowners association, which we do not know at this time because Mary hasn't identified a home. But we can safely calculate these. So based off of this figure, what it's doing is it's solving for a maximum home value, given her income, given a maximum DTI of 40%, and it is estimating that Mary can safely afford a $1,443 monthly payment. Now this max monthly payment is just for principal and interest. So up here, the 2050, this is her maximum monthly principal, interest, taxes, and insurance payment based off of her income. This is the maximum principal and interest payment. So it's basically the difference between her maximum monthly payment and then all of these expenses. Now, one other key factor to take into consideration when calculating affordability for a home buyer is how much savings they have. So this is critical because you can have a home buyer that makes over $150,000 a year. But if they only have a couple $1,000s in savings, well, they really can't afford to buy a home. And so the calculator also solves for a situation where an individual would not have sufficient funds. In this case, Mary indicated that she has $40,000 in funds. And so just strictly based off of her funds, she can afford a $470,000 home, right? So that's a max principal and interest payment of $2,700. But this is not appropriate given Mary's financial situation, given her income of $75,000 and her monthly debt of $450. We know that she can safely afford a $2,050 monthly total payment or a $1,443 just principal and interest. So taking the mortgage rates that they are today, 6.1% on average at a 30-year loan, we know that Mary can afford a $238,000 loan, putting 5% down, bringing Mary's maximum home value to $269,000. You'll see that over here on the summary page. Mary's maximum home value is $269,000. Mary will receive a little breakdown as to what she can expect her payment to look like. And again, this is based off of actual results of what Mary can safely afford based off of her full financial picture. And essentially, this will help Mary in taking her first step towards homeownership, which is oftentimes the most difficult step. It's taking that first step. So thanks again for watching. Now you understand how the affordability calculator works and how the instant custom report works that the user will receive on the back end. This is how PadPath is helping buyers understand what they can afford and again, taking that first step towards homeownership. If you like this video, feel free to like it and follow us for more tips on safe, fast, and efficient home buying.